Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about my 2025 goals. Let's get right into it. Yeah, as mentioned, today's video is going to be more of a talking video, just going through some 2025 goals. I know it's pretty early for that. Usually people come out with their 2025 goals in December, but I thought since it usually takes a little bit to train for some of the goals that are on my list, I thought it would make sense to talk about them now, since there's usually like a 20-ish week prep that goes into these different goals. I know this video might be a little boring for some, but I thought it was important to sit down, look at some of the goals for 2025, as well as looking back and reflecting on some previous accomplishments. But first, before we jump into my goals for 2025, let me know what your goals for 2025 are. What goals have you set for yourself? Mentally, physically, academically, socially, or in other levels? I would be super interested to know, so drop your goals for 2025 in the comments. So with that being said, let's jump right in. My first goal for 2025 is running a sub 3-hour marathon. Specifically, I want to run a sub 3-hour marathon in the spring of 2025, making that my first goal that I want to check off the list in 2025. With a sub 3-hour marathon as a goal, I want to dive into my history running races, and specifically marathons, but also half marathons and ultras, and give you a quick recap of what I've done so far. And then, basically see if a sub 3-hour marathon is realistic for me. So my first race was in October 2021. It was a half marathon in Washington, which I completed in 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 40 seconds. I remember driving there in the morning. It was a super small half marathon along the Potomac River there. I remember the course was super flat, gravel, so pretty much perfect for running. I remember feeling pretty good at the turnaround because it was out and back a half marathon. And yeah, it was a great experience as a first race, and it really got me hooked to the whole running thing. As my next goal, 1 month later in November 2021, I ran the Raleigh Marathon. This was obviously my first marathon, which I completed in 3 hours, 57 minutes. And 15 seconds. What do I remember from that run? Well, my goal was to run a sub 3:45 marathon, which I obviously didn't complete, but I remember feeling really well and really holding back a little bit on the first half marathon. Then really on the second half of the marathon, the course got super hilly because all the hills you ran down and during the first half, you basically have to run back up. And yeah, I did actually really well on the two main hills, but after that, there were a few kickers that really broke me. Mentally and physically, I was kind of broken, and it was just basically the first time of me experiencing the so-called wall that you hit at mile 20 or a little later. It was definitely a great experience. I didn't feel like it in the moment, but I also made some beginner mistakes. For example, once I completely blew up, I chugged a whole bottle of water, which obviously didn't feel great trying to run the last couple miles. But yeah, pretty good experience. Still completed at sub 4 hours, which was like my plan B. Moving on to the next marathon, the Honolulu Marathon in December 2021. This was one of my highlights so far. Obviously, Hawaii is beautiful. Got to spend around 3.5 weeks there between in December, Christmas, and New Year. Amazing experience, as well as the Honolulu Marathon, which was just great. Leading us through Waikiki and out of Waikiki, I felt amazing. I was really holding back on the first half. What I remember, I ran around 8:30 on the first half, I think, or maybe a little bit below that pace. On the second half, I felt amazing, and I found this guy that was also feeling pretty great. And us two together, we really pushed it on the second half. So I think I ran a negative split, if I can find it. Actually, I'm sure I ran a negative split. But yeah, I completed the marathon in 3 hours, 32 minutes, and 58 seconds, which was really a great jump from the Raleigh Marathon. A jump of pretty much 25 minutes, which is pretty crazy within a month, but it also just shows you how bad I blew up during the Raleigh Marathon. Moving on to the next race I did, it was the Sedona Half Marathon in February 2022. I completed the race in 1 hours, 34 minutes, and 55 seconds. Sedona's Red Rocks, iconic, absolutely beautiful scenery. I remember the half marathon being pretty hilly, honestly. I think it's just over 1,000 feet of elevation, but it's felt like a lot more. I don't know why that was, to be honest. I think I completed the race in the top 20 or just outside of the top 20, which felt pretty good. But yeah, as I said, 1 hours, 34 minutes, 55 seconds. And another thing I remember from the race is going into it super sore because for some reason in my gym class, 3-4 days before the race, I decided to do some all-out sprints, which I haven't done in forever. And I just ended up being super sore and felt pretty awful going into the race. But yeah, I was able to push through. Nutrition was pretty good. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that race. Next up, 1 month later in March of 2022, I ran the Savannah Marathon, or the Skidaway Island Marathon. This is my fastest marathon up to date. I completed the marathon in 3 hours, 26 minutes, and 33 seconds. I remember driving there the night before, trying to check into the hotel to get some, at least 6 hours of sleep. But I don't know, for some reason, they ended up not having my reservation. Yeah, so at 10 p.m., I ended up on the phone with customer service of a travel site that we all know, but I don't want to mention their name here. But yeah, it took them 2 to 3 hours to find us a new hotel/motel. And yeah, I ended up sleeping 1 hour, getting up at 3:30, driving to the race venue, which was, again, absolutely beautiful. It was like a golf course, and you could see it along the East Coast, really beautiful. But yeah, with 1.5 hours of sleep, terrible nutrition, I ended up running my fastest marathon so far, which was very interesting. And then right after, I recovered for 30 minutes, and then I ended up driving home for 6-7 hours. So yeah, crazy experience, but definitely one to remember. After that, I ran my first ultra marathon, the Keys 50 miler. I completed that in 11 hours and 38 minutes, which sounds crazy slow looking back, but it was so hot, the humidity, there was no shade. It was just a sufferfest, basically. Ended up winning my age group, which I'm really happy about. Very interesting first ultra experience, because you basically just run along the highway that leads you down to Keys. And so the 50 miler started a marathon and then led you all the way to Key West. But yeah, I arrived at Key West basically at night, it was completely dark already, so I didn't really get to see anything, and then I had to fly home the next day to start working. Yeah, so another crazy experience. Then I took quite a break from racing. The next marathon I would run would be the Detroit Marathon in October 2022. I didn't really put any prep into this marathon. I was obviously running throughout the summer, but I didn't really specifically train for a marathon. And also the night before, I was in Lansing watching the Michigan State game and at the tailgate, so I didn't take this marathon too serious. I just wanted to complete it just for fun. So yeah, I ended up running a 3 hour, 54 minute and 56 second marathon, which is nothing special, but like I said, I just wanted to complete that marathon. Again, a little bit of a longer break to the next marathon in March 2023. The Myrtle Beach Marathon. I would complete this marathon in 3 hours, 36 minutes and 23 seconds. And yeah, I actually put a little bit of a prep into this one. It was pretty flat, leading you along all the golf and mini golf places there. But yeah, it was fun. I drove 3 hours there in the morning, ran a marathon, drove 3 hours back, took a really long nap. Another interesting day. Then in April 2023, I attempted the Zion 100, my first 100 miler attempt. And after 16 long hours, I dropped out at mile 52, my first DNF in any race. But yeah, that was definitely the hardest thing I've done up to that date. Very cool and crazy experience. You can also watch the video I did about that race. I'll put the link somewhere up here. Then in October 2023, I ran the Portland Marathon. Again, I took a little bit of a break after the Zion 100 attempt because it broke me a little bit mentally. So it took me a little bit to get back into it. I ran the Portland Marathon in October and completed it in 3 hours, 49 minutes and 38 seconds. Terrible nutrition. I think I downed the first gel at mile 6. And then after that, I felt sick right away. So I didn't eat at all the whole race. Given that, probably a respectable time, but yeah, nothing too great. Crazy thing was, right after the marathon, I flew from Portland to Germany for my graduation here. And then I flew from Germany back to California to compete in the Tahoe Triple, which was 3 marathons around the lake. Coming off of the long travel time and just being up and on the go for basically a week. I didn't feel great during the Lakeside Marathon, which is the first one leading you up the east side of Lake Tahoe. I completed the first marathon. I felt terrible after, so I decided to do the half marathon the next day, which I also completed. And then I actually quite enjoyed it. On the third day, I enjoyed the Lake Tahoe Marathon. Roads were blocked off, beautiful scenery, Lake Tahoe, absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it was a cool experience. Then one of my main goals that I trained for a long time was 70.3 Indian Wells in December 2023. It was my first triathlon, my first Ironman race, my first 70.3. I completed the race in just under 6 hours, which was definitely not my goal. I wanted to be more around the 5:15 mark. I really lost a lot of time on the run because I kind of blew up. I went out way too fast, didn't get down the nutrition I wanted to during the run, and then pretty much blew up on the last 10, 12, 14K. But yeah, definitely a learning experience, and I actually quite enjoyed the experience. It was fun, just like the whole lead up, the whole organizational things that go into it, and then just the 3 different sports. Oh, one thing I want to mention is I'm terrible with cold water. I think the water had around 60 degrees, maybe 58 or something. Definitely not for me. Even though the wetsuit, I just can't handle it. Never got used to it. I even practiced a little bit in cold water. I guess you just got to get used to it. But yeah. Just not for me. Moving on to the next race. In March of 2024, I ran the LA Marathon. Completed that in a time of 3 hours, 36 minutes, and 45 seconds. Pretty respectable, pretty cool marathon. The bib pickup and stuff was very chaotic, but other than that, it was really fun. Yeah, nothing much to say here. After that, in April of 2024, I attempted the Zion 100 again. This time I only made it 38 miles. I was just mentally broken that I put so much more work into this one than the previous Zion 100. And I felt great physically during the first 20 miles, but I think not having the right nutrition got to me again. Yeah, I pretty much was just so broken mentally that I felt exactly the same as the year before, with me putting so much more work into this one. I'll be back though. I'll be back at that race for sure. A month later, in May of 2024, I ran a Bryce Canyon 50K. Beautiful race. The Red Rock, Red Canyon, absolutely beautiful. 10 out of 10 would recommend. You can also check out the video about that race somewhere over here. Great experience. We just took our time. We enjoyed the race. It was fun, a lot of fun. I definitely needed that after the Zion 100 the month before. And then the last race I did was Olympic triathlon at Huntington Lake in California. 7,000 feet of elevation, so I could barely breathe on the swim. But yeah, it was fun. Short, Olympic. I just wanted to push the bike as hard as I could. And then I kind of ran a really slow run at the end, but it was fun. Cool experience, definitely. All right, so looking at the marathons, I picked out the marathons that I actually trained for / were solo marathons, not combined with a marathon the day after, the day before, kind of making it an ultra. So just looking at the marathons, I'll put the graph up right here as well. As you can see, we started off just under the 4-hour mark, and then I had pretty quick progression down below 3:30. But after that, you can see that I never really put in the 16-week, 20-week prep again. And you can see that for marathons that I was kind of in shape. I'm usually right above the 3:30, around the 3:36 mark. And then for marathons where I wasn't so prepared, I was just around the 3:50, a little bit under, a little bit over mark. So what does that mean? For me, I just want to put in a real prep again. And that's, like I said, one of my main goals for 2025. In the spring of 2025, I want to run a sub 3-hour marathon. I'll put in a 20, maybe a little bit longer prep. If you just count back the days, obviously it's important to set those goals way in advance. Yeah, which leads us to a marathon prep pretty soon, which is exciting. I'm super into the running grind again as of right now. And it's just fun to me to work towards a marathon goal again. Goal number 2 is going to be completing my first Ironman, full distance Ironman, which is going to be Ironman Austria in Klagenfurt in June. I'm super excited for the race. I'm already signed up, really pumped. A little bit scared, but I mean, with enough prep, I'm sure it's going to be fine. The lake is absolutely beautiful. I put some pictures of the lake in here. After my first Ironman 70.3 experience in Indian Wells, I'm looking forward to a little bit warmer water for sure. I'll definitely keep you posted on my preparation on here. We'll probably do a little series, but you can also let me know in the comments what you want to see, what you're interested in, what kind of content you're interested in. And yeah, I'm just really excited. The bike course is pretty hilly, and then the run course is pretty flat, I think. Yeah, I'm excited. A sub goal I have for that is completing it in under 11 hours. Pretty ambitious for me personally, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think ambitious goals aren't a bad thing, and we'll see where we end up. Goal number 3 for 2024 is going to be completing my first 100 miler. As I've mentioned before, I've tried the Zion 100 twice. I would love to try it a third time, but it's probably not going to be possible since it's going to be in April. I'm going to be busy with other preparations and training in April. But my goal for the fall of 2025 is completing my first 100-mile ultra. Yeah, I'm just excited to get back out on the trails, enjoy nature, but also get on another level mindset-wise and prepare myself mentally and really be tested mentally and physically during the 100-mile race. Obviously, I'm also gonna keep the running every day and cycling every day series going. I just really enjoy the grind there. It's been really fun so far. One other goal I have for 2025 is reaching 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year. The goal for 2024 is 10K subscribers. We're on the way. Currently, we're sitting right around 6,000, I think, a little over 6,000. So thank you for each and every one of you. Looking forward to grow the community even more and reach some of the goals that I've set up. With that being said, let me know what you think about my goals in the comments. What other things would you like to see? I can also tease a little project maybe for the summer, which is going to be one of the craziest projects I've done so far. But like I said, let me know in the comments what other goals, projects you would like to see, and what goals do you have for 2025. I would be super interested in that. As always, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. As I said, drop your goals in the comments or goals you would like to see on my list. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.